Hello, and welcome to the Temple of Ada Hyena. As you can see, we have a wide assortment of texts and books and scrolls that you can read at your leisure. These are texts about the ongoings of history throughout the region, about local kings, about local religions, all available for public consumption. Of course, here at the Temple of Ada Hyena, we do have private collections that are not available for the public. But please don't misunderstand or listen to the hideous, sinful rumors about us that there's sinister plots or ploys going on. No, 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 no. These texts are hidden for the safety of the public. These are things not meant to be read by ordinary eyes. Things that the good Church of Helena has appropriately defined as unsafe for public consumption. Of course, we do run into our issues. The Church of Helena, good-natured, good intentionally, has sometimes been a bit overzealous in their restrictions on our ability to keep and hold these texts. But that's fine. That's fine. We understand their role. We understand what they're trying to do. And yes, we are under investigation by the local Elysians, an investigation that we are cooperating completely with. After all, these are the constables. These are the people in our society who keep us safe. Now, yes, there have been rumors of accidents or troubles at temples, but you have to understand that there are times when these constables get a bit overzealous. There are times when boundaries have been pushed, and we, of course, have to negotiate those boundaries. We have to make these things clear. And it's only natural that from that, rumors of conflict or mysterious doings are going to arise. It's very unfortunate that the average individual in Xixthill is unable to distinguish these rumors from reality, as in fact, the majority of people, well-intentioned though they may be, seem to be completely incapable of actually interfacing with the reality that's put before them. This is exactly the reason why we need to work as secretly as we often do. This is the reason why we can't let you into the back room. We're not acting against the interests of you here. We're acting in line with your interests. And my apologies, but our reason for visiting you here or bringing you here to the temple is we have recently heard of your rather extensive private collection. And unfortunately, we've come to understand that you have some books that really aren't appropriate to be in your possession. It's really not something that we can risk having your servants, having your children fall upon this knowledge. You do understand, don't you? That's right, baby. We're talking about Xixthill. Yes, the all-seeing eye, the keeper of the one book, the first, the one, she that watches from inside your mind. That's right, Xixthill, who disguises herself as an aloof goddess known as Ada Hyena. She is the first troll we're going to be talking about. Shut up, Tiger! Sorry, my cat won't stop meowing. This is not a video about Shy. It's a video about Xixthill, a troll. She is an under troll. These are the beings. The original under trolls were created to keep watch over those places deep in the underworld and to study to study the sciences that Nthraxu created, the very laws of reality, how they work, how they interact, engineering, biology. These things were studied, and many of these things were created by under-trolls. Many of the basic rules and the way the laws of physics work were created, enforced, studied, adapted, and changed by them, of course, all within the allowances of Nthraxu. These were the beings who had ancient, strange technologies of great glowing blue pylons and machines that dig through the earth, creating tunnels, were not machines, but the trolls themselves, great beetle-like creatures with pincers who are cold, calculating, knowledge-obsessed entities. Yes, these are the under-trolls, these scientifically minded, practical application, deep, cold, calculating, alien, insectoid beings. And Xixthill is one of them, though she no longer appears in such a way, for she no longer has a form of any individual physical kind, for she unwove her very being, her very essence, into every single book in Xixthill. That's right. Raxel is right. When the Raxolians are screaming in the streets, they're saying, "Stop reading! You can't read! Reading and writing is going to destroy your soul." They're right. Because when you open that book, when you open that scroll, when you look at that written word, the all-seeing eye looks back upon you and knows everything that you know. That's right. Xixthill is, there's no argument, she is the most frightening troll in Xixthill. More so than Nogus, more so than Mingser. She is fucking horrifying. She is tremendously evil. Her cyclopes are dragging down God worshippers into the back rooms of their temples where they are interrogated, where all their knowledge is extracted before they are finally sacrificed. And the sacrifices to Xixthill are not dark because they're brutal in the way that, say, Mool is, or Mingser, where you're getting ripped apart or being dipped in some acid or heart torn out or whatever. No, they are dark because they are so very clinical. You get brought in, you get put to sleep, you get your wrists slit, and you bleed out into bowls, and your soul is taken by allied necromancers of the faith of Nogus and forever trapped within skulls where your knowledge can forever be consulted against your consent as you spend the rest of your life as a repository of knowledge. And not even knowledge that's particularly useful, spending days, chains, cycles, ages untouched, collecting dust in some closet, just an inanimate skull staring at the wall, completely incapable of ever having any action or experience again in your entire existence. And if the Xixthillians have their way, this will simply go on forever. That's right. We're talking about Xixthill. So, let's get the facts straight. Xixthill is an under-troll. That's right. She is one of those beings first created by Nthraxu to tend to the world, to maintain the world, to keep the world controlled and working the proper way, to oversee orcs, cyclopes, pharaohs, some Rustalos, other Huldre, some Huldre gone and past. And of course, she is the divinity of knowledge, of books, of sight, of perception. She has massively powerful dominions. Anytime you see something, you're giving power to Xixthill. Every time you have any perception, you're giving power to Xixthill. Anytime you happen to know anything or gain any new knowledge, you're giving power to Xixthill. The only way to live your life without giving power to Xixthill is to lobotomize yourself, blind, deafen yourself, cut off all your nerve receptors, remove your sense of smell, cut out your tongue, just completely turn yourself into an unthinking, unresponding, unknowing vegetable. That's the only way you get out of the grasp of Xixthill. That or becoming a saint and being protected by a divinity. Xixthill teaches her followers to go and gather information, to gather knowledge, and to keep it from others, and to kill the interlopers, and to make plans against the enforcers and the other divinities, to plot and to figure out routes to more power and more knowledge, and to subvert the enemy, to work beneath the enemy's nose, taking their money, taking their wealth, taking their resources, and shifting it in a way that takes it out of their hands. The Xixthillians are patient, for their divinity is the divinity of patience. They work carefully and quietly. These are not reckless individuals. They can play the long game. They can work with multiple generations of a temple, of a god. This temple, thinking they are trusted allies, servants of a harmless, weak goddess, Ada Hyana, as slowly, they're corrupting this temple. They're taking scrolls from it. They're gaining knowledge, and they pass that knowledge on to that big Syrian army, those savages, and those No-Gussian necromancers. They pass this knowledge on to the oracles and the temple of Nithrax, who think and work and call upon their divinity, time itself, by God, to figure out exactly how to exact vengeance and destruction onto these vile, God-worshipping, pagan scum. For that is the way the Xixthillians see the God worshippers. That is the way they even see many worshippers of elder creators, for they have no respect for those outside the faith of Nithraxu and the other trolls, as she subtly works against the gods and has no loyalty towards any of the elder creators besides her parent Nithraxu. But she has many powers. She is a divinity of many things. She is not only a divinity of knowledge and sight and things like that, she is the divinity of parasites that come and just suck and suck and suck the life out of the world around them without providing anything of value to that world, because it is Xixthill's goal to not destroy the world, but to destroy that world, the world of the gods, the world even of the elder creators, the world as it is now, to bring it back to its proper order, where the gods are dead and gone, annihilated, their followers genocided, and the elder creators are properly made subservient to the glorious Nithraxu, not following their own petty agendas, but serving the purpose that they were made as forces of nature. To think that they would be so arrogant as to serve their own agendas. She is the divinity, the troll, of that which should not be known. The secrets that Xixthill has would break the mind of most individuals. Only her Cyclopes, who are all mentally linked to her. This is why anyone was like, I'm the Cyclopes who doesn't worship the trolls. Wrong! No, your mind is linked to her. You can't do that. It's impossible. You are an alien creature bound to the service of the trolls, for that is the way Xixthill has programmed your mind, and she knows everything you know, and she knows where you are, she knows who you are, and she can turn your mind off at a moment's notice if you are a Cyclops. But of course, no Cyclops would ever wish to turn against her. No, They are loyal to their troll mother, for they are creatures of void and time, who know secrets and who think in ways that is alien to the ways of man, which is why Xixthill seeks to keep secrets away from the ways of man, and not just man, but ogres and fae. Well, ogres are fae, but fae and tallow and Hamblin, all sorts of creatures. She wishes to keep her secrets from them. Uh, and she, of course, commands her followers to carry daggers with them everywhere. These are scholars, and they appear harmless, but they are not harmless. In my game, most Xixthillians, they're not like Hysterians. They're not like high quality, like trained killers, but they are all capable of killing people. Not just having the talent, but pretty much every. I mean, in my canon, to actually be like a follower of Xixthill, like an oracle of her, which Xixthillians are oracles. Their clergy are oracles of a different, more malicious sort than the Mithraxu worshipping oracles, although they are loyal to those oracles. They are lore keepers, they are bookkeepers, they are truth keepers, and to get into that holy order, to that magical, occultic, secret, dark holy order, they must, of course, take a life. They must take an innocent life, for that is something that they must be capable of doing at all times, quickly, at a moment's notice. Somebody sees something they shouldn't have seen, just a quick little jab of shiv, and then as they walk away and sheath that dagger. Somebody comes looking around. What happened here? What happened here? The librarian is already down the hall, down the alley, away from the scene, as there is now a peasant who saw too much, just bleeding out on the ground, as nobody is the wiser. She, of course, gave the gift of writing in books to the world. Begrudgingly, she gave these things to the lesser creatures, to the wicked creatures who she wishes to keep all knowledge from. But listening to her parent, to her wise, all knowing, all seeing parent, she agreed. She put this information out. However, she is watching. She's watching from this information itself. She has power over all lore, and she of course seeks her followers to study, to find information. There is no prayer to Xixthill. No, she would even be offended if you are ever to call upon her to thank her. The only time that is allowed is among the orcs, as the orcs, they're a simpler folk, and Xixthill knows this. Their ways are simple and straightforward, and she is not commonly worshipped by orcs, more by Cyclops, but she does have her orc followers, who are certainly a far kinder version of her faith, simply watching over ancient libraries and occasionally calling upon her name. But for most of her followers, prayer, the normal prayer of calling upon her, would be looked down upon. No, study. Spend your time studying. Find new information and hide it from the enemy. Her churches are, of course, all disguised as temples to the goddess Ada Hyena, or just disguised as some library. Just there's no understanding that this is a temple or anything of occult workings of any sort. Just disguised, although they are now being investigated by those pesky Elysians sticking their noses in. But they are subverted. They are still hidden. They are still misguided, these Elysians, kept from the deeper secrets, given false secrets, given red herrings. Okay, you got us. We were studying this, and we know Helena prohibited this, but it was only for scholastic reasons, and the Elysians, they let the Elysians, burn that library down. They let the Elysians destroy the library. They cooperate. because the real library is deep underground with the real knowledge that the Elysians will never be able to look upon. I love their holy text. It's called the One Book, and I just imagine this just massive book, just like I'm talking like this, bigger than this, you know, just a huge text full of lore. But the One Book, it does have a lot of religious stuff, sort of the cultic knowledge, cultic truths, but in many ways it's just a reference book. It's just citing various books, citing massive libraries of books that you can go to find occult information. And of course, it's written there. There's various enigmatic puzzles within the book that only the initiated can understand. Um, uh, she is a manipulative, she is a lying, she is a deadly, malicious troll who works against the gods and their followers at all times. So that's kind of the facts out of the way. That's the Ben Shapiro portion of the video. So using Xixthill in your sagas. Xixthill can fit into any saga, but you have to be really, really careful. In many sagas you put her in, it like the players should not figure out it's Xixthill. It should be a big deal. It should be a huge deal for them to figure it out. It should be extremely difficult, and more often than not, any information that they figure out on her should be complete bullshit, which can be very difficult for an FT, at least for me. I have this problem as an FT. I like to have like secrets and then reveal them, like, ha ha! But that, if you do that too much, that cheapens it. That cheapens the reveal. And honestly, Xixthill is one divinity that she's the fucking Illuminati. She is the all seeing eye. She is the fucking evil satanic Masonic order. And if you are in the Masonic order, you are anti Catholic, you are a Satanist. Get out of that. But that's beside the point. Fuck you, Masonic order. But the Masonic order in fantasy is very cool. And she is that. She is that in within the Ring of Fire. So these they're doing horrible things to people. They're doing tremendously terrible things to keep their information secret. It should be absurdly difficult for even the most intelligent, wise, and investigative and curious catalysts to find anything out about her. Like one tiny truth about Xixthill. Like I'm not talking the bullshit lies, because players will find layers upon layers of lies. And they're like, oh, what's going on here? And what's this? And but even one tiny little modicum of truth about her should be shocking. It should be dramatic to even find where the Xixthillian oracles shit. Like to find like their actual like laboratory or whatever. It should be like, what is this place? What is this? It should, like even that should be huge. And even those tiny truths, even those modicums of truth, knowing that should put your catalysts in very grave danger, because Xixthill knows that you know. Xixthill knows that you know, and she's coming for ya. And she's sending cyclopes and trolls and aspects of Nithraxu to come and take you away, and to even come upon deeper secrets. That's just a TPK waiting to happen. So there's various ways you can use her. I recommend her as a strange backdrop that your players will almost for sure never even discover. But if they do, that's an interesting story hook. And don't get in here and be like, oh, you run story games? No. All right? Please don't be a fucking piece of stool if you watch my videos. You know what I mean by story hook. Shut the fuck up. Now, using her as a antagonist or protagonist, like I said, I think her best use is in this sort of neutral way where she could likely become an antagonist, but is likely just not going to be something the players interface in any real way and just see strange like secrets that make them uncomfortable. And maybe they go deeper in. But in a game where you're playing as troll worshippers, or even if you've got mostly elder creator worshippers, or just anything where you could have magi in that party, and you could have like troll worshippers and occultists, she can make a great sort of evil party member. Kind of being, but your follower won't come off that way. You know, your Cyclops scholar, or even your human initiate who's been joined into the faith of Xixthill, rare as that is, they'll come off as a pretty chill, maybe subtly charismatic, highly intelligent sort of scholar, just knows these things and whatnot, but secretly engaging in some sinister acts of wickedness, of secrets and lies and mischief of the dangerous variety. Or if it's more of an overt thing, if you're all worshippers of the trolls, you can be that kind of dark one. You've got the orc witch, and it's like, I wish to get closer to my heart, that I can act as Yilanok wishes me to, so that I can help the younger species come up and put aside the wrong, new, vicious ways and join the ways of the orc. And you have that summoner of Ori Nauaskais who's courageous, and he's fighting, and he's working, and he's never gonna give up, and he's tending to the wounds, and he's calling upon the spirits, and he's standing against the demons and saying, "No! We will destroy you, warlock scum." And you've got that Nogussian necromancer sort of leading the group. And then on the side there, you got that Xixthillian, like, yeah, I just killed some people, keep them from knowing our secrets. And it's like, oh yeah, you're our ally. Well, you got to do what you got to do, and that can be very, very comical in a very dark and realistic way. Having this just like where you're playing the trolls up as the good guys, where you're playing these underdogs, these worshippers of the trolls, trying to keep the world alive, trying to protect the world from Armon, and then you just have this like sociopath who's just like trying to find secrets and just murdering lots of people. It can be a very, very interesting evil protagonist. Do not try to play the good, nice Xixthillian, the Xixthillian who's like, well, there are the darker aspects of my faith. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to protect this knowledge and save the world. No, fuck you! That's stupid. Get out of here. No, you gotta play that dark, secretive occultist, that wicked scholar trying to return not to the new world order, but that old world order. Yes. And she makes a fantastic antagonist. One of the best antagonists in the game. So often, Helena and the Enforcers and other gods and other divinities are seen as evil, and to some extent, rightfully so. They're the bad guys, whatever. But if you want to bring sympathy on Helena, on Aulus, if you want to bring sympathy on Fatash, if you want to bring sympathy on really any of the gods, fuck, if you want to bring sympathy on Mool, on even Fuchsia, on these gods, maybe not Fuchsia, but still, especially the Enforcers, especially if you want to bring sympathy on the Enforcers, Xixthill is the perfect antagonist because she is what the Enforcers say the trolls are. She is subverting the order of things. Maybe not the natural order as the trolls see it, but she is subverting the natural order as the gods see it. She is killing innocent people. She is keeping information from the powers that be. She is working against society. She is trying to subvert and destroy your city. your hometown, your village, so that the knowledge, just because somebody in your village knew something they shouldn't have. She is doing that. And sure, the Hellenites are probably going to kill that guy, but the Xixthillians are going to kill everyone. So she makes this great antagonist, and you can really play up how horrifying it is. As you're in Elysium, you're a hard man. You've seen things, you've done terrible things. You are a brutal, mighty individual, maybe even an ogre. You've eaten people, you've ripped people's hearts out. You're a brutal, brutal torturer. But this is fucking with you. This is getting to you as you're looking at these secrets and these strange occult things, and it's putting that stress on you as you don't know if she's one step ahead of you. You don't know what she knows about what you know. And that horrifies you. And you're trying and you're thinking, I have to get to the bottom of this conspiracy. I don't want to look further. I cannot bear to pull back one more curtain, but I have to. I have to. I'm horrified of what's behind that curtain, but I know I have to fight it. I don't know if I can win, but I have to. I have to win. I have to go and I have to battle this secret evil that's just working. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's behind this occult madness. I don't know what's going on, but I have to find out and I have to put a stop to it. Damn it! And so this can be a great way to put that sympathy on the enforcers. And should your players actually interact with Xixthill, honestly, most of the time, if they're enemies of Xixthill, that should be the end of the saga. As they are taken and they're sacrificed, the bad ending. I'm not saying, like, force a random TPK, just, Xixthill appears to you and you all die. I'm just saying if the actions of your players lead to them being sacrificed by Xixthillians, as often might be the case, then the last thing they should see is that eldritch alien eye coming out from a shadowy background as these fin-like tentacles come out from it, as they hear that voice, that unknowable as everything ends. Now, if you are going the protagonist route, if you're playing a Cyclops or a follower of Xixthill, you should have her interacting with the player a lot. They should be reading and they should hear whispers. They should have conversations with their divinity, with their troll. Xixthill should be whispering to them, Sikako,
this is the place I have sent you. Find the knowledge kept within the treasure trove of the enforcers, for they have stolen truths not meant for them to see. Take them and kill them. This knowledge must be kept within my temple.
Whispering and interacting back and forth, giving you inspiration as you see these flashes of things before you, things that happen in the past, things that will happen in the future and then come back to it. And you're a Cyclops and you got that beak and that one eye I know what I must do. You should come upon trolls serving her that tell you what she has told them and what they wish you to do. And sometimes you're supposed to ask questions. Sometimes you're not. So there's just, she's a pretty great divinity. Usually she gets solidly put in that antagonist camp in my games or the neutral camp, kind of the background camp. But she can make a fantastic protagonist as well, albeit a very, very evil one if you're going that troll worshipping route. And she is, in my opinion, if you want to put sympathy on enforcers, she is the best antagonist. Anyway, that's Xixthill. Yeah, you got one of my favorite gods, Dingan, coming up next. I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, there you go.